Hey guys, welcome to another video. This is Johnny NYC, and I'm standing in front of the Stella Maris Roman Catholic Chapel here in Elizabeth, New Jersey. And what we're going to do is we're going to check out the 9/11 memorial that they have set up here. Let's check this out. It says here, on September 11, 2001, terrorists attacked America. The World Trade Center, affectionately referred as the Twin Towers, was one of the terrorist targets. As the centerpiece of the New York City skyline, the Twin Towers proclaimed the vitality of New York City and its people to the world. On another level, they proclaimed the vitality of all Americans, emanating from America's belief in the dignity of each human being. The second target, the Pentagon, proclaimed to the world America's determination to defend the sacred beliefs. This monument placed on the grounds of Stella Maris Church is dedicated to all those who lost their lives in the attack on America. The two structural beams, as well as the other steel comprising this monument, was salvaged from the ruins of the World Twin Towers. As we reflect on the past, the two structural beams symbolize our outstretched arms as we plead for the comfort of the families and the friends who mourn the loss of the victims. Looking to the future, they continue to proclaim America's belief, the right of each human being to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Now that's pretty nice. It's not signed. Who wrote it? It looks like an aluminum plaque on a nice stone, granite stone, situated in this, nice little park with trees around it. Today the American flags, that's half staff. I don't know why, but it could be for the memorial. There's benches here where you can take a moment of silence. You could walk around. It's pretty nice. No one's going to chase you out here if you do come here. This is a Catholic church or a Catholic chapel. There are two priests here that I think serve Mass every day and hear confession, so you can come here, anytime you like, and it's pretty nice inside as well. So let's start taking a look at the beams. I mean, it's pretty amazing. So if we look at this guy, like this part here, it's pretty mangled. I don't know how the jet fuel could have melted the steel like that. I mean, that's pretty intense. That looks like some pretty intense heat. You're like all the way down here, like the fire was burning this. Like look how thick that is. I mean, that's my finger. That's about 1.5 inches thick. I mean, if you look at the bottom, I mean, this was cut for sure. This was cut. I guess they could have cut this here or wherever they had the steel, because they were bringing all this steel to Staten Island. And they had like a 24/7 road dedicated for the trucks bringing all the debris to Staten Island. So we look in the bottom, there's another beam. I mean, this one doesn't look like it was burnt at all. But if you look at this, I mean, I just don't see how steel or burning materials can melt like 1.5 inch thick steel. I mean, this gird is like solid. I mean, look at that. I mean, this thing will break your foot. I mean, compared to this, that's just tin. This is solid steel. This is probably the best steel in the world. That's what they use to build these towers. You know, to withstand 300-mile-per-hour winds. Maybe more. You know, in hurricane, let's say they had Hurricane Sandy at the time. I mean, look at that. I mean, just look at the thickness of this. I mean, that is some pretty thick steel. So this was hand cut. These were definitely hand cut. You know, but if you come down here and you look at that, I mean, you know, those are parts that were welded on, and they're still on there. They didn't come off. You know, this steel looks like it was bent because when it started collapsing, you know, this steel bent from all the weight and the pressure. But if we come around here and we look down here, I mean, look at this block. Like, they put this here to make it stronger. I mean, that's heavy duty. Unless they welded this on here to hold this up. You know, that could be another example. But I mean, just look how thick that is. You know, there's parts in here. This is probably insulation that was on it. But these came out of Staten Island. So these are two steel girders they used to represent the actual towers. They're about 10 feet high. They put another rod on the top to resemble the antenna. You can see that. And these are in pretty good shape. I mean, and what really makes this building strong is the way these were built. So what you have here is you have an I-beam, and then they put this steel plate, solid steel plate, in between the I-beams to give it that intense strength. I mean, and who knows, you know, what floors these were on. You know, these could have got bigger and thicker as the floors went down, because these were probably in the middle of the building by the elevator shafts. Because of if you watch one of my other videos, you'll see actual exoskeletons of the buildings, and they're located in Weehawken. So that's another memorial. You can freely go there and check that out. Let's take a look at the back. So now the back is flat compared to the front. Now this looks like this was here, and it looks like there was something on this that was coming out, that was holding something, you know, and that's how the engineers designed these buildings to hold all that weight of the building and to maintain the swinging of the buildings in the wind. You know, here's another look from the back. So that's the antenna that represents the antenna. You know, they might have cut these holes in here for transport to put that antenna on there. I don't know, I'm not too sure. You know, they look like they're pretty, but there's a dent here, so I mean, who knows? You know, there's a dent right there. Like, here's some shard right there. You know, I don't know what that was for. You know, this could have been holding up something. So if you come down, there's a dent over here. It's all dented. There's something on here. And if you look at the other one, you could see like there's something that was on here. You know, now I'm not sure if this was ripped from it falling or this was all cut up with a torch. You know, all the way down, whatever was attached to this, but there was something attached to this. You know, because if you look at the construction, you know, again, you have the steel beam here, and then you have this plate that comes out, and it's like, and it's feathered out. It's like a huge weld right in here, and this is a very thin plate. This is about a half an inch, maybe a quarter inch thick. and this is the thicker I-beam. But then it goes thin, and then it gets thicker down here. So, I mean, I really couldn't tell you where these girders or beams came from, because again, like, it's thin here, and then it gets thicker here. So I don't know if whoever even got these, even know where these came from, because, you know, it just collapsed. Try to get in a better light. Yeah, so you can see here it's thin, and then it gets thicker, and it looks like it was cut, but there could have been something else attached to it. So if you look at it over here, you can see how thick this is. I mean, this is immense. That's like 1.5 inches. That is so thick. Or it could be 1 inch. Looks like 1.5 inches, way bigger than 5/8. So most, you know, so let's stick to 1 inch. You know, and then again, you have this plate on the inside, and look at the weld. I mean, this weld is huge. And it's like precision weld, precision. So, I mean, I don't know if you can see in there, you can see that. It's all rigid and cut. There's some melting over there. You know, right here. Let me see if I can take a look at the top. You know, to say that, you know, kerosene or jet fuel took these buildings down. You know, so look at this. Who knows what that was attached to, but it's still on there. I mean, whoever welded this, whatever machines they had to weld it, were probably the best machines in the world. I mean, there's a closer look at the antenna. You know, that's to represent the antenna. I don't know if that's steel from the World Trade Center. That looks like a welding rod up there, all the way at the top. You know, they might have made that at the shop. Whoever was the artist to put this together, they definitely commissioned an artist to make these. So I mean, this is a pretty fascinating memorial. You know, it's pretty awesome the way they took the two girders or the two beams, support columns, and made that. So let's show a little respect for the people who lost their lives. And it says here, let us forever remember in our prayers the following Port Authority members and all others who perished in the World Trade Center attack. So we're gonna start from Joseph Anatuccio, Christopher C. Amoroso, Jean A. Andrucki, Richard A. Aronov, Urza Avilas, Arlene T. Babakitis, James W. Barbella, Maurice W. Barry, Margaret L. Benson, Daniel Bergstein, Edward Calderon, Liam Callahan, Robert D. Siri, Carlos Da Costa, Dwight D. Darcy, Eureka Davila, Clinton Davis, Frank D. Martini, William F. Fallon, Stephen J. Fiorelli, Donald A. Foreman, Greg J. Froner, Barry H. Glick, Thomas E. Gorman, Joseph F. Grillo, Ken G. Gonzalez, Patrick A. Hui, Uhuru G. Houston, George G. Howard, Stephen Huxo, Anthony P. Infante Jr., Prem N. Gerard, Mary S. Jones, Paul W. Jergens, Deborah H. Kaplan, Douglas C. Karpiloff, Robert M. Kolfers, Frank Lama, Paul Lasizinski, David P. Lemang, John Lennon, John D. Lewis Levy, Neil D. Levin, Margaret S. Lewis, James F. Lynch, Robert D. Lynch, Myrna Maldonado, Kathy Mazza, Donald J. McIntyre, Walter A. McNeil, Deborah A. Merrick, Fernandan V. Marone, Joseph M. Navas, Peter Negron, James Nelson, Alfonso J. Niedermeyer, David Ortiz, James W. Perham, Nancy E. Perez, Dominic Pizzullo, Eugene J. Raggio, Bruce A. Reynolds, Francis S. Riccadelli, Antonio J. Rodriguez, Richard Rodriguez, James Romito, Kalen K. Soccer, Anthony Savas, John P. Scala, Edward T. Strauss, Walwyn W. Stewart, Kenneth F. Taitchen, Lisa J. Cherotola, Nathaniel Webb, Michael T. Wohi. And these are the people who lost their lives. Wherever you see the badge next to the names, those are the officers from the Port Authority Police. So it's up to you, to believe that, idiots, 14 idiots actually hijacked 3 planes with no experience in flying, buildings that were designed to not collapse, built, with the most modern technology possible, with all the money available to them to build these towers, to say that jet fuel actually took down these buildings, and it was some terrorists that were living in a cave that planned all this. I mean, I'm sorry, I just can't believe that. I mean, there was another conspiracy that a lot of people were talking about, what happened to all the debris. And my theory is that they started this plot in 1996 or before that. Let's say 1990, 91, whatever. When Bill Clinton was president, we had our first World Trade Center attack. The United States, American citizens, the people, the taxpayers, the people of this country who love it dearly, this country, were attacked, right? So, the explosions, happened in the basement of the building. It was similar to like the Colorado Timothy McVeigh attack, with the box trucks that were rented from a rental company. They filled them up with formaldehyde and all that stuff. Drove them to the side of the building. And all these poor people lost their lives in order to make men rich. Not even from this country, on top of that. Because that guy Silverstein has dual citizenship with another country, so he's not a real American. If you have dual citizenship, you're not 100% American. So to me, you're 50-50. If maybe you're 100% for the other country and you're just here just to cause problems. But, this is the memorial. I think it's a really nice memorial. It cost a lot of money. I believe that the union paid for all of this, of the workers down here in the port, the ILA. They sponsored this whole field. I think they even sponsored the church, the chapel. And, this was a great thing that they did. And it's a wonderful thing that we have this. So we do remember. And I hope someday no one decides to take this down so people forget, like they're taking down other statues of American history, whether it's good or bad. We need to know both sides of the story. We can't just have one side of the story. But in this, I think the the truth is fabricated. And it just doesn't add up. So I'm gonna walk around, take a look from different angles so you guys get a better view, because I know there's a lot of you guys that would, are not gonna be able to get here. So I'll try to give you the best possible scenario that you can have. And that's how it looks. I mean, this is awesome. It's really nice. It's really nice. And they have a memorial here every year. It's not forgotten. Every year the union, so if we look here, you got a lot of, look at this metal, flak. Look at that. I don't know what that is. I don't know, somebody knows in the comments, what this stuff is. This is just rust over the time that this been here. These are just rusting away. But what it tells you is these things been here since maybe 2002, and these are going to be here forever. This steel's not going to rust away. That's how good this steel is. It's not junk. But this, look at the way that melted. That took some intense heat. Nothing is going to melt this steel. Nothing. Except for a continuous, intense form of heat. I mean, because if you look at it over here, that looks like something burnt on it. Whatever was attached to it, like plastic or something like that, that's what that is. This is not part of the steel. If you did tests on this, that's not steel. But, we'll never know. We're never going to find out the truth, until we have, somebody who's going to be able to, kick out the dual citizenship holders, the traitors of this country, and not allow the dual citizenship holders in politics or hold a public job. If you have dual citizenship, you shouldn't be able to hold a public job or be elected to a public office, because who's to say that you're gonna be 100% on American side? If you want to come here, have dual citizenship, be a private citizen, make your own money, whatever, work for a company, but you shouldn't even be allowed in a union if you have dual citizenship. I want to thank you guys for watching the video. Say a prayer for these people that lost their lives for no reason at all, and for their families who are mourning their death. And peace out, God bless you, and God bless America.